Hi students! Today I'm going to show you how to adjust your photos, especially photos like this one where we've got a dark section that's a bit too dark and then a really bright section that is kind of washed out. So to do that, the best thing to do is to make adjustments in the image menu, and under this image menu there's this adjustments arrow, or I don't know, sub menu I guess you could call it, and in here there's a, a huge number of ways you can adjust the colors, many of which we will use this year. To start off with, for this particular photo and for any photo that has brightness issues, probably the levels is going to be the best place to start. So, and one thing you'll notice is that I already have this menu off to the side. When you open it, it'll probably be somewhere in the middle like this. You want to move it over here, and then also make sure this box here, preview, is checked, because if it's not checked, then you won't be able to see what you are changing, and that will make it much harder to use this properly. So one thing you can see here is this gray slider. This is the slider that you use to adjust the mid-range of the brights and the darks. And so by moving that where I did, I've adjusted the mid-range to actually match more with this kind of arch is showing in the first place. And I think I'm just very slightly, yep, perfect. Okay, I like it. So I've moved that, and so that's adjusted the levels a bit in my picture to make this part come out with more detail, and especially this here, I really like the way that looks. So that's good. The other sliders, this one here is to adjust the brightest brights. So as you can see, as I'm sliding that, things are getting more and more washed out. I don't want anything to get washed out up there because it's already washed out enough. So I'm leaving it at its maximum. And then on the dark end, you can also sort of darken the darkest darks. So if the picture was kind of weird, like maybe it seemed a little bit foggy looking because the darkest darks aren't dark enough, you could adjust this to make them darker. So you can see the more you slide it, the more the different value variation I have changes. Cool. And here you can see for sure where my issue is with brightness, or with the brightness. It's really dark right here, and then there's a whole bunch of really bright here. So that divide is a problem, and that's what I'm working on adjusting with levels. So there's also these droppers. So these you can use to kind of say, this is the mid-range, I want this to match here, or this is the dark, I want all the darks up to that darkness to be the darkest dark. And so that's the darkest dark, that's the middle one, so it matches up to this, and this one here matches up to this. So it's just a way of using those to mark the brightest brights and the darkest darks in your picture. So I think I'm good now, and I will just press OK. And now I need to change this, give it a little bit of a filter to emphasize the beautiful sunset in the sky. So again, image, adjustments, and then now I'm going to go to this one called photo filter, because I think that's going to be where I'm going to get the best adjustments. And here I've got photo filter and the warming filter selected. There's a whole bunch of other filters. I'm going to keep it on this one because I think that this is the one I'm going to want. But one thing you can also do to make the filter more dramatic, you can increase the density. And I'm going to do that on this one to adjust it just slightly. I think maybe a little bit more. Oh yeah, right there. I think that's great. So like 55%. But if I wanted, I could try these others too. So there's like this magenta one, which I would definitely reduce the density down if I was going to use. There's the deep red, that one. Ooh, you know, I might like that one. I think maybe I'll go with that. Okay, so play with these, try different ones out and see what might work best for what you're trying to do. So I like that, so I'm going to press OK, and now I have a new filter on this photo, and I think it looks a lot better than when I started. So now I can go to Save or File and then Save for Web and Devices. And I get this error message, but don't worry, if you get that too, just press yes. Here, the preset, if it isn't already selected, it probably is. It's usually the one it's on. JPEG High is what you want. And then you'll press Save. And then here, I've named it Echo Lake Orig. I'm going to remove the Orig, and I already have 2 other filters that I've tried, so I'm going to call this one Echo Lake Red. Oh, right, it was deep red. That way I can keep track of which filters are which and which one I like best. So now I press Save there, and I'm done. And hope you like your filters.